Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 105 of the Talk is Cheap show, our last show of 2021. Great to have you guys along. Really looking forward to this show. Got a great show lined up for you today. But before we go any further, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you my special guest, a man who is also my good friend, my co-host, resident expert analyst, former professional footballer, now social media influencer of much renown. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please give a big digital round of applause to none other than Mr. Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
Yo, what's happening, bro? Happy Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year, last show of the year. So let's make it a good one, you know?
Absolutely, man. And how have you been, bro? What's been
I'm good, man. Can't complain. Had a good Christmas. Just trying to get back in the swing of things. It's a bit of a crazy period, isn't it? That week between Christmas and New Year. So
absolutely, man. Absolutely. I hope you're all, you and your family, in good health. No COVID disruptions.
No, all good. Fortunately, bro, all good at the moment.
Wish I could say the same for Mikel Arteta.
I know, I was sad news. Yeah, second time that is as well, isn't it? He's had it.
I think if I remember rightly, wasn't he the first high-profile football person to go down with it?
Yeah, I think he was the first manager. Yeah, so I mean, it's not good timing, but yes, it's unfortunate
for him. Lightning struck twice, but
yeah.
From what I'm hearing, from the bits and pieces I'm picking up, I don't think it's too serious. So hopefully he can make a quick recovery and get back to Arsenal and winning ways very soon. Talking of that, so it looks like he will miss the game on New Year's Day against Man City. Some would say that's not a bad thing given how previous games have turned out. But obviously, jokes aside, we wish him all the best. So what do you think of the new man that's going to take over for the game?
AirPod Albert.
Albert Stuyvenberg.
AKA AirPod Albert.
Albert.
Yeah. Do you know the funny thing about him? Yeah, he was actually Man United's assistant manager with Van Gaal.
That's right.
So he was a bit of an op in the past, but yeah, I know everyone's kind of like, what, you know, why has he got AirPods in during the game? I don't know. What's he listening to, bro?
We'd love to know. Maybe we should ask Ty because he loves the
Do you know what?
A little two-way conversation going on with Ty. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, man. It'll be interesting because obviously during the game, Arteta's very animated, isn't he, all the time? Loads of hand gestures. You know, this Albert, man, you know, he might just be chilling with the AirPods on.
Listening to a bit of classical music.
You know, it'll be interesting how the players respond to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of interesting to see how it will go with him, won't it? Because let's be honest, man, it's not the easiest game to be in charge of. But then if it goes well, you know, it'll reflect well on him, no doubt. But so we know that he's Dutch. We know that he's well respected. Apparently, he's a forward-thinking coach. So yeah, we wish him all the best with that.
Yeah, man.
Just want to ask you on our news and notes. Strong rumours that Ainsley Maitland-Niles might be departing to Roma. From what I'm hearing, Ainsley's keen on the move. Arsenal are also said to be keen on the move. However, they would prefer a sale rather than a loan deal. But either way, it looks like this could well happen. So I just wanted to know your quick thoughts on that one, bro.
I think from a personal point of view, I was kind of a bit like, do Arsenal do Mourinho a favour? Because I remember a few years ago when he was at Chelsea, we were going to sign Demba Ba off them on loan, and Mourinho pulled out at the last minute. And then also in the summer, he kind of, you know, wanted Xhaka but didn't make a really serious offer for him. But I mean, outside of that thought process, I think Ainsley's been, you know, quite hard done by, to be honest. You know, the Wolves offer a year ago, didn't play. After that, really ends up at West Brom, comes out of the England squad, and then even in the summer he could have gone to Everton. The man ended up making pleas on social media to try and get out. And then I think a few weeks ago, he got man of the match against Watford. He hasn't kicked a ball since. So I think now really they've got to try and find a solution. The only thing I would say, if he goes, Arsenal have got to sign someone because, you know, with Partey and El Neni going to AFCON, if Ainsley was to go as well, that only leaves us with Xhaka and Lokonga in midfield. So they're definitely going to have to sign someone. But I do think Ainsley will leave, man. He does deserve to go and play football, and I think Roma would be a good move for him, to be honest.
Yeah, it would certainly be a better move for him than West Brom was.
Yeah, exactly.
But having said that, apparently he did well at West Brom. I've spoken to a few people who are West Brom fans, West Brom affiliated, and they say he was one of their better players. I mean, I know they went down.
Although they didn't have much there, did they? So,
they didn't,
you know what I mean?
I think there's a good player in there, man. And I think given the right circumstances and the right manager and that, I think he'll do well. So if he does go, he goes with our blessings. I think, like you said, Curtis, he needs to be playing football, really, doesn't he?
Yeah,
it wasn't that long ago that he'd forced his way into the England team.
Yeah.
One of those scenarios where he was good enough for England, but not good enough for Arsenal.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
It's kind of strange, but hey, there you go. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you quickly on another rumour that's doing the rounds before the transfer window opens, and that's Philip Coutinho. Remember him? Philip Coutinho to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Has that ship sailed, or would you like to see that dock at the Arsenal harbour?
You know, like over the years, there's been players like Draxler, Yanam Villa, Gonzalo Higuain, them players that every year we get linked with. I think the Coutinho ship has sailed, man. Don't get me wrong, there's probably still a talented player there at some level, but he's 29, he's on 250 grand a week, he's had big injury problems in Spain. How motivated is he as well? It's not for me. It's not. 2 years ago or so, I would have said all day long, still a very good player. It's not that he hasn't got the talent. I'm sure he still has, but I think our attacking players are developing nicely. I wouldn't want to see Martinelli get dropped for Coutinho, you know. So, Coutinho for me, I wouldn't be on that one, to be honest.
Interested in that one.
Nah.
Have to say I agree with you, bro. Although it would appear from what I'm reading, the narrative seems to be is that the manager's very keen. So obviously he sees Coutinho as a good fit. So
it'd be interesting because I know his agent is that Kia Jarapchin. You know, him and Edu have done a lot of deals, so it's probably an easy deal to get done in-house. But I don't think that's the kind of player we need at the moment. I think we need a central midfielder more than kind of an attacking number 10. So. But it wouldn't surprise me with Arsenal.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes, but that's an interesting sideshow. Okay. So moving on again then to one of our regular features, which is our review of Arsenal's last game since the last show. Now, it should have been last games because it should have been 2 games. The game against Wolves got postponed, and I just want to ask you quickly. I mean, I've got a view on this is that I think at the moment, man, games are being postponed far too easily. I think we're up to number 16 postponed now. And listen, I know all about COVID, trust me. I know all too well. So I'm not trying to minimize that. Also, there are injuries to take on board as well. But the rules do state, Curtis, that if a club can have 13 players, I think it is, outfield players and 1 goalkeeper available, then really they should be obligated to play the game. And I look at a squad like Wolves, right? They hadn't played for X amount of days, 8-9 days anyway. They've got a first team squad of 28 for this year. Yeah. They've also got academy and players and under 23s, under 21s. Are you seriously telling me that they couldn't get 13 outfield players on the pitch?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
13 plus a goalkeeper. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of thinking that some of these games getting postponed a little bit too easy for my liking. What's your thoughts on that, bro?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because the rules are a little bit like, I don't know. I know what you're saying. They're saying if there's like 14, 15, but I think these clubs are probably looking at it now. When they've got a few big players out, they're probably thinking, some big players out here, we could do with that being called off. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of don't put the blame with the clubs. I look at like the rules need to be clear, and then we know where we stand, because we played Leeds the other day. I think they had 8-9 players. They had a 15-year-old on the bench. So they said they felt like they were forced to play the fixture, but then Wolves are not playing the fixture. So I think it's more down to the rules that are in place than the teams. Teams are going to manipulate.
But then when you look at Leicester, they had a very weakened team against City. They lost that game, but then also they beat Liverpool with a weak side. So, and I always think that, some of these teams, man, they've got some very good youth players or players on the fringe.
Yeah.
That's a perfect opportunity to give them a run out, isn't it? Surely. How are you going to know if these guys are good enough if you don't give them a chance? So I'm a bit skeptical about some of these pullouts, man, I must say. But anyway, Wolves' pullout game is strong. I'll leave it there. Okay, then. So back to our review of our last game. Man. As I like to say, carnage at Carrow Road.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Before the game, me and you had spoken, and I was on the live stream. Shout out to all those guys on the live stream, Robbie and people like that the other day, Lee, Turkish, all the rest of the man. So we'd spoken about the need for Arsenal to be professional, not to be complacent, not to be too overconfident. And if they did that and made a good start and got an early goal, it should, in actual fact, be light work. And that's exactly how it turned out to be. But credit to Arsenal. They did that and more and ended up winning 5-0, thrashing the 5 goals. Bukayo Saka in the 6th minute, Kieran Tierney, 44th minute, Saka again in the 67th minute, a Lacazette penalty in the 84th, and Emil Smith-Rowe wrapping things up with a 5th. So that's 5 wins on the bounce now for Arsenal. 5 straight wins since that disappointing Man United and especially Everton losses. So Curtis, what's your thoughts on that, bro? First on the Norwich game and then the little run we're on.
I mean, first of all, that was like the perfect present at Christmas, wasn't it? Norwich away from home. They were gift wrapped. I mean, I knew Norwich weren't good, but boy, they are dreadful. No disrespect to any Norwich fans, but they're down already, aren't they? But listen, I have to give credit to Arsenal. We only beat them 1-0 at home. And obviously, Man United only beat them 1-0 a few weeks ago. I think it was a late Ronaldo penalty. So you've still got to beat the team that are in front of you. And to be honest, we made them look dreadful. And I thought going forward in particular, we were very good. Odegaard, Saka. So, I have to give credit to the team. I think once you go 1-0 up early against Norwich as well, their heads drop. They had very little going forward. And I thought it was a professional performance. And they deserve credit for it. I wish we could play Norwich every week, to be honest. I love to play them every week. But in terms of the run that we're on, I mean, I think confidence is high at the moment. I think, let's be honest, we're in a good run of form, but I think we've had a nice run of fixtures as well. I think the fixtures of the West Ham game that looked a very hard one on paper. We beat Southampton, who were a little bit depleted. They had a 40-year-old in goal. Beat Leeds. They were a bit depleted as well. Not taking anything away from Arsenal, of course. But we've had the fixtures have fallen nicely over the Christmas period. So, but we've taken advantage of it. So I have to give credit to the manager and to the team. And, we have to, we're halfway through the season. So for us to be in the top 4 in a cup semi-final, I think every Arsenal fan would have, bitten your hand off at the start of the season. So it's about now what happens from here until the end of the season. But progress. I would say progress.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I did a fan cam for Robbie and those guys after the game, and I said of that game against Norwich that 5-0 did not flatter us, and I truly believe that.
Yeah.
What I did like is that we did show that element of ruthlessness that you need when you're a good team. You come up against poor opposition and you just slap them up. And that's what we did. And I have to say, I agree with you 100%. Norwich were poor, man. Very poor, in fact. They've got serious problems. And I do believe that they are probably the weakest team Arsenal played so far.
Definitely.
If we're going on performance, which kind of segues nicely into our ops of the week, because we've gone from playing the worst team in the Premier League, arguably, to definitely what I would say at the moment, the best team in the league, which is Man City. So you've gone from 0 to 100 real quick. And it's ironic that we played them on the first day of the new year, 2022. So there's a lot of significance attached to that game, man. But yeah, the difference in the quality of opposition couldn't be more stark. And if we're to, stay in the Champions League places and, make ourselves that great team that we all want us to be, these are the types of games that we definitely can't afford to lose anyway. Whether we'll win or not, it's another matter. But I would hope that we'll go there, put in a performance worthy of the name, and hopefully get a result. But it's not going to be easy. So Man City now, just bring up some quick receipts. As I said earlier, currently top of the Premier League, 50 points. They played 20 games, won 16, drawn 2, lost 2. Their only defeats of the season so far, Tottenham on the opening day. And Crystal Palace beat them. And I think Crystal Palace beaten them twice in 2 years now.
Yeah.
Whereas we are fourth, 35 points, played 19 games, won 11, drawn 2, lost 6. Our head-to-head record against City is not very good at all, I have to say.
Yeah.
We already played them in the Premier League back in August, and we got thrashed 5-0. Last season, they beat us 3 times out of 3, didn't they? They beat us both home and away in the Premier League, and they put us out the League Cup as well.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we've got a pretty poor record against City. In fact, if my research is right, the last time we won a competitive game against City was in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Goals courtesy of who?
Mr. Aubameyang.
I need to remember he used to grace our team at one stage.
He wasn't a bad player, he won at one point.
Well, to listen to some of the fans, man, you know what I mean? But anyway, we beat them in the FA Cup semi-final. But prior to that, again, if my research is correct, then you have to go back to December 2015 when we last beat them. Yeah, 6 years ago, man. So that's
bad record.
That's terrible record. So that needs putting right, doesn't it?
We owe them one.
Over to you, my friend. Your thoughts on that game, the lineup, formation. What are you saying? If you're the manager, if you're Albert, Airport Albert, what's
I mean, you know what? He might be better off just finding his favorite album, just put it on and just close his eyes until the whistle goes. But no,
what he's into? Drake?
I don't.
Bit of classical? What is it?
I don't know. Maybe a bit of Mobb Deep.
I reckon it's more classical music.
Yeah, no, probably a bit of Pavarotti in here or something. But no, listen. For me, I think sport is all about when the best sort of teams clash against each other. If I'm Arsenal, I think they should actually look at this as an opportunity, even though most people will say, you know what, City will beat Arsenal. At some stage, you have to turn things around. Like you said, that record against Manchester City is dreadful. Even, City played Brentford midweek. They beat them 1-0. Brentford made life difficult for them. They denied them space. They gave up a lot of possession of the ball. But, Arsenal have to find a way to make life difficult for Man City. Cut off their space. They don't really play with a striker. And I think you've got to hit them on the counter-attack. That's how Palace done them. That's how Tottenham done them. Even the other week, Leicester got 3 goals back quickly. So listen, Man City are favourites. There's no doubt about it. They're the best team in the league. I think they've won 10 Premier League games on the spin. They're on fire, but they're not unbeatable. They're not. I don't think this City is as good as the Centurions Man City a few years ago. So they're favourites. It's a tough game, but we've got to play it smart. I think we've got to frustrate them. Don't concede early. And when you get a chance to hit them on the break, you've got to really try and hit them and use our Martinellis, our Sakas, our Smith Rowes, the younger players with pace. You've got to really go and get them when you get a chance. So I'm actually looking forward to the game. I am, just hope it don't ruin New Year's Day, if we're 3 or 4-0 down. But no, listen, I'm looking forward to the game.
Yeah, we got to be optimistic.
Yeah.
What would you say about the team? Would you make any changes? I mean, I know there might be some enforced changes.
Yeah, I mean, see, my one worry is up to this point, I don't think Tomiyasu's been pictured in training.
Right.
That for me is a big worry because I mean, you saw the other day we played Ben White at right back and played Rob Holding at centre back. That against Manchester City would really worry me because, you know, Ben White's not a natural right back. Holding, I mean, we've seen Holding against City before struggle.
That was before he had his new hair, though. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he's got more hair than me now. He's gone from your hair to my hair, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to hit him up, man, and see, listen, if he can hook me up.
Yeah, you need to get that flight, man. You come back, you know, you'll have an afro by next week.
To use a term that you used earlier in the show, I think that ship sailed for me. But you know what? Fair play to Rob Holding, man. You know what I mean? He's looking real young again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But no, for me, I would play the same team, obviously, in the hope that if Tomiyasu's back, him at right back, move Ben White back to centre back. I know some people are saying, you know, Smith Rowe, he scored 3 and 3 now off the bench. Does he deserve to come back in? And on one hand, he kind of does, but I don't think Martinelli has done anything wrong to deserve to be dropped. So I would actually play the same team. But obviously, like I said, I hope Tomiyasu's fit because I don't really want to see Holding against Man City. No disrespect, and you know, big up the haircut and that. But
yeah, you're right, man. I mean, listen, one thing I am looking forward to this game with, though, is that, and I'm quite optimistic about this, is the fact that both teams are in good form going into this game. We're on form. We're scoring goals for fun, albeit against lesser opposition. But the vibes are good. You know, according to Alan Shearer, it's because Aubameyang's not there. I'm not so sure about that. But the team are playing well. There's no doubt about that. We're scoring goals. Yeah. Players look confident. It looks like a happy hunt. You know, I wouldn't say happy hunting ground city. That's the wrong term. But it looks like we're in the right frame of mind for a challenge like this. Yeah. However, I am a bit disappointed that the manager, Arteta, won't be there. I think he will be missed because he's on the touchline cajoling players, shouting instructions. Albert, unfortunately, he's the polar opposite to that, isn't he? So unless he's going to mood change, then he won't be saying much on the sidelines, I wouldn't have thought. So I think they are going to miss the manager. And I think little things like that could make the difference, you know. So I'd like to be able to predict an Arsenal win, but if I'm being honest, I don't think I can predict a win. However, I'm hopeful that we can get a result from this game. I'm going to press you for a prediction, bro.
I like how you put the prediction onto me first, did it? You know what I mean? Man wants me to have all the pressure.
What do you say?
Do you know what? You know what? It's the first game of the new year, man. Let's start the new year right. I'm going for a 1-1 draw, but I'm being honest. This is more hope than expectation. I'm keeping it 100. I'm hoping we can get a draw. You know, but it's going to be very tough. City are favourites. What I will say is, if we get beat, I don't think it will be like the 5-0. You know, I think it will be a tight, hard-fought victory. I think we'll make life difficult, but City are favourites, to be honest. They're just in such good form. They keep the ball so well that you gotta favour them to win. But you know, first game of the year, we're in the top 4. I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw, but in hope more than anything else.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, bro. I'm kind of similar to how you feel about that game. What I'm going to do with this prediction, I'm going to pay homage to the late, great Desmond Tutu. So I'm going to Desmond. So, Desmond, rest in peace. In homage, I'm going to go for a 2-2.
Yeah.
I have to say that I'm not saying that with the confidence that I would like to be able to say.
You wouldn't put your mortgage on that, would you?
No, I wouldn't. Absolutely not. Otherwise, I might be asking to come and stop with you and your missus.
You might be outside Tesco. You know what I mean?
I might spend 2022, man, at the shelter with my bags. Listen, man, it's sport. You never know, do you? So
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, thanks for that, bro. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Right then, for our main item of this week's show. I thought we're coming to the end of the year. Let's have a little bit of fun, man. The year's drawing to a close. It's been a difficult year for everyone. Let's have a little bit of fun. I thought a light-hearted approach is probably required. So I thought if we go back in the calendar year, 2021, and I've compiled some categories, and I was going to ask you, Curtis, if you could give us your thoughts and views on our best and worst moments of 2021. And we've got the usual things like, your best player and people like that. So,
Yeah.
the format. It's quite straightforward. So I'm going to pitch a couple of categories to you, and then you give me very quickly your thoughts on the category.
Yeah.
Right. So the first and obvious one, the best player of 2021, best Arsenal player. These are Arsenal awards and best moments, by the way.
So it's for the whole year, right?
Yeah, it's for the calendar year. It's not necessarily for the season, because obviously the seasons, we haven't reached the end of the season, obviously, yet. So I thought, we come to the end of the year. Let's keep it 2021.
Yeah. So I've written, so you probably got to go Bukayo Saka, I would say.
Yeah, I had Saka down as well.
I think you got to go Saka. Do you know what there was even a bit of a shout for Smith Rowe there, because Smith Rowe came into the team in late December 2020.
Yeah.
And he helped our season a lot. But I think Saka had a lot of big moments. Like, I remember Europa League putting that ball in for Aubameyang, and yeah, so I'll go with Saka. He went to the Euros as well. So I'll go with Saka.
Yeah, I went with Saka. Yeah. Like you said, honourable mentions, definitely Smith Rowe was an argument. But
yeah,
all things being considered, I thought Saka had an outstanding year, and he continues to do so. I mean, his performance against Norwich was brilliant. He was man of the match there. And when he's on form and playing well, he looks a real handful, man. It'll be interesting to see how he goes against City, because everybody else, he seems to give them severe problems. And I'm hoping that's the same for him. Best young player.
I mean, I suppose Saka would still be considered a young player, wouldn't he? But do you know what? I'm going to mix it up, though, and give it to Smith Rowe, even though it's kind of the same thing, just so someone else is getting some flowers. Because I think Smith Rowe deserves a mention for his impact, because he came in December. We needed that kind of player to play between the lines. I think we were a much better team at the end of last season once he came in. And then even this season, he's got 8 league goals already, man. We're only in December. For a midfielder, that's what we've desperately needed. So I'm going to give the young player one to Smith Rowe, because I think he deserves a mention.
Absolutely. I'm not hating on that at all. I mean, I had it again between Saka and Smith Rowe. If you say Smith Rowe, man, I'm happy with that. So, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, okay. Most improved player in the last calendar year.
That's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean... Yeah, I was looking at it like over the past year. Yeah, I see you put Odegaard, because Odegaard.
Yeah, Martin Odegaard, because I'll tell you why. Because Odegaard came to Arsenal on a bit of a rush of enthusiasm, didn't he? A lot of people were talking him up.
Yeah,
and I remember he started fairly well, but then it kind of slowed down a bit, didn't he? And then towards the end, some people were saying, "Well, I'm not sure if we really want to keep him. We could let him go back." And then when it was announced that he was coming back, there were a few people that I spoke to saying, not so sure. Not sure.
Even me, I wasn't so sure, to be honest. I wasn't totally sure about it.
Yeah, a few people expressed that view. But to be fair to him, since he has come back, especially in recent weeks, he's looked really good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He would have to be on that starting sheet. And so he's keeping people like Smith Rowe out.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, that's why I went for him. But
that probably makes sense. No, I'd probably go along with that. I think, especially like you said, in the last month or so, he's looked really good. And what I was shocked with him when I saw that, I've only been to that Southampton game, was how hard he works off the ball. Really works hard, man. So yeah, he does deserve credit. I would give it to him as well.
Yeah, and fair play to the manager, man. Because when he, like we said before, when his name was being touted about coming back, I spoke to more than one person who was like, I'm not so sure if that's a good move. And he's been instrumental in some of our better moments in recent weeks. He's had James Perrin 1 or 2 times, scored some good goals. Yeah, man.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'll definitely go with Odegaard.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right, okay. The player who needs to do the most improving.
The grandpa, mate, in centre mid. Because
Right.
people are telling me they don't know how old he is, man. You know what I mean? But nah.
I'm not going to go down that road, right?
No, I won't go down that road. All I
down
can say is, right,
not in public anyway.
Robbie's not dancing at the moment, is he? You know, we're not as excited. But listen, Thomas Partey, there's no doubt, because the Thomas Partey we're seeing at Arsenal is not the Thomas Partey we saw at Atletico Madrid. Now, is it the league? I still don't think he's adjusted fully to the Premier League. He's had a lot of injuries. Still think we could do with a better midfield partner next to him as well. But at the same time, he has got to do more himself. He does. I can talk forever about, he needs a better midfielder than Xhaka next to him, which I think he does. But things like simple passes being given away and stuff like that, he does need to work on that. So, listen, I still think he's a very good player. I still hope he becomes that player, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. And, he gave himself 4 out of 10 on his Arsenal career so far. So he's very honest, but clearly he knows that, he's playing well below his level. So, yeah, I think no doubt Thomas Partey.
Yeah, I think, again, that one kind of picks itself, really. Thomas Partey came to the club in a bit like Odegaard, probably more so, to be honest, with a lot of hype and a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. As much as I like the player, I have to admit he's not quite lived up to that for whatever reason. Like you said, he could be adjusting to the Premier League. Although, to be fair to him, I have seen some, encouraging signs in recent weeks. He has got better. And even before then, there were games when he looked really good. And then he'd go a couple of games when he didn't look anywhere near the same type of player. So it's a strange one, that. But yeah, he does need to step his game up a bit. And I'm hoping that he will. You know what I mean? He's going to the Africa Cup of Nations. I hope he has a good tournament there. And then when he comes back, I hope the form continues, man. But yeah, I think he does need to step his game up a little bit. Although I still would say, despite all that, him and Xhaka represent our best combination midfield, man. Don't you think so?
They do, but I'm just still not sure if it's a good enough combination for where we really want to get to. That's the only thing. But it probably is the best of what we've got as a partnership.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I do agree with you in that sense.
Right. Okay. Well, we're pretty much agreed with everything so far. What about this one? This category, most exciting player. Which player at Arsenal over the last calendar year has got you off your seat the most, cheering and high-fiving and jumping up and getting all excited? Which one?
That's an interesting one, that, because see, for me, Arsenal, the most exciting player for me that I like watching the most at Arsenal is Martinelli.
Right.
Well, he hasn't played that much this season for me to really, over the past year, he hasn't really played that much. So I suppose you got to go Saka. I suppose you got to go with Saka. Just because Martinelli hasn't played enough in 2021. So I'd have to go with Saka.
Yeah, I had Saka down. It's remarkable how we keep agreeing with these things. But yeah, you did make a good point there about Martinelli. When he's on the ball and he's driving forward and he's going on those runs and stuff like that, you think, wow, this kid really looks something special. But for consistency, you'd have to go with Saka. Over the last calendar year, he's been the man. At times, he's kind of held us together a bit, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, he has.
Him and Smith Rowe. So, yeah, I think you could have had him, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli as choices, certainly. Yeah. Okay, what about, I've thrown this one in there. Fans' favourite player over the last calendar year. Who would you say that is?
See, I would have said Ramsdale, but then because he joined us in like August, I'm like, we're gonna go over the whole year.
Yeah.
So I'll go for Mr. Tesco bag Kieran Tierney, mate, because the fans all seem to love that guy, man.
They do, yeah.
Maybe if Ramsdale had been here longer, but I think because we're going over the whole year, I think Kieran Tierney, man, the fans just love that guy's attitude. Even when he scored against Norwich, just seeing him screw face. He was going mad. You can tell he just feels it, don't he? So, yeah, man, I'll go Kieran Tierney as the fans' favourite.
Yeah, I mean, I had Ramsdale, but I see what you mean about Tierney.
Yeah.
I can say one player that definitely is not going to get that award.
Pierre.
Mr. Lambert, I don't think he's going to get that this year. In years gone by, he would have got it. But it's a bit sad that, but we won't dwell on that. We're trying to keep this light-hearted and keep it fun.
Yeah.
So fans are favourite. You've gone for Tierney.
Yeah.
I've gone for Ramsdale because of the impact he's had in such a short space of time.
Yeah, he has had a big
impact. I
impact.
mean, listen, if you say Tierney, I'm not going to argue with that either. Right, okay, moving on. Best moment of performance in 2021. Now, I'll go first on this. No, actually, no. You go, man. You're the guest. Unless you first, you know what I mean. But I've made three. I've got a definitive first choice and a couple of special mentions. I want to see if they kind of correlate with yours, or if you want me to go first, I'm quite happy to.
So I think the first obvious one is obviously the Tottenham win.
Yep.
I think that was just special, wasn't it? We blew them off the pitch first half. I think seeing the youngsters scoring in that game as well. I think the Aubameyang knee slide in front of Thierry Henry. You know, I think that was the one special moment that he has had this season, to be honest.
Yeah.
The other one I had was the late goal in the Europa League. Another Aubameyang one, to be honest. The header. You know, the cross from Saka back post and Aubameyang heads it in last minute. I think that was Benfica.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Benfica. Yeah.
In the Europa League. That was in 2021 as well.
Yeah, because that kind of saved our bacon, really, didn't it?
You know what I mean? But so I had those two down, really. I don't think we had too many other huge moments.
Like massive highlights, but definitely the Tottenham one sticks out. The honourable mentions I had was I was very impressed with the Leicester performance back in October. When we beat them 2-0, I thought that was a very good performance. I remember at the time, a few people were saying to go to Leicester and beat them, that will show how far we've come. Whether we'll be competitive this season. And we went there and we did a good job, very professional. So there's that. And a few weeks ago, going to Leeds, I know Leeds were a bit depleted. They had a few injuries and they were coming off some indifferent results. So it's not the same Leeds as maybe last year. But to go up there and beat them 4-1 and do it quite comfortably, really. And then the actual performance, I thought that was a very good performance. So those moments kind of stick out for me. What do you think of the Leeds game performance?
I get it was a good performance. I thought they were there to be beaten, though. You know, I thought that. Listen, here's a hard place to go, tough ground. And I think last year we drew there, didn't we? That's when Pepe got. So it was a good performance. I think what it shows, though, is that 2021 was a tough year for Arsenal because you look at them highlights, there ain't too many.
No, there's not really.
You know what I mean? So hopefully 2022 we're picking out some bigger highlights, you know?
Yeah, like I said, man, the Tottenham result and win, just the whole atmosphere of the day,
amazing.
The knee slide by Aubameyang, tribute to Henry and stuff like that. That was definitely the day that everyone got all excited. It's a shame that fast forward few months, it's a completely different scenario as far as he's concerned. But yeah, that was probably the best moment. It's ironic that our best moment of 2021. And then it was a team goal as well, wasn't it? That Aubameyang goal.
Yeah, great goal. Yeah, Smith Rowe, little flip. Yeah, brilliant.
So yeah, that would be the highlight. Worst moment performance 2020. Now there's been a few howlers, but there's a couple, man, that really stick out for me.
I mean, listen, for me, there's one above all, and like not even the 5-0 to City, not the Liverpool. It is Villarreal. That is it. Yeah. That game brought more anger to me than I think I've ever felt watching an Arsenal game. Like, you got Emery in the dugout. You know, we didn't score. Aubameyang got dragged with 10 minutes to go. Willian's coming. That game for me was just because I actually think if we would have won that Europa League, you you're speeding up the process. You're speeding that up by 2 or 3 years because you're winning a European trophy if you win the final and you're in the Champions League. It's going to change the players that you're going to sign. We could have been in a totally different situation, and I thought we should have beaten Villarreal over 2 legs. So that Villarreal at home for me was by far the worst. By far.
Yeah. There was a few pretty poor performances, man. The going out of the FA Cup meekly to Southampton.
Oh yeah.
Round. Especially when you consider that we were the defending champions or holders of that tournament, and then to go out such a desultory fashion, man, that was poor. And I've got to say, the opening day of the season, the loss to Brentford.
That was bad.
I mean, I know there were circumstances, there were caveats attached to that game with injuries and stuff like that and circumstances. But even so, man, the performance was very poor. And the team, quite rightly, and the manager copped a lot of stick for that because we were really awful. I mean, I know it was Brentford's first game ever. They were hyped up in the Premier League and they were, they came at us, but then we should have been expecting it. And to get beaten the way we did sort of left a bad taste in the mouth. It wasn't the best way to get your season off to
underway.
Yeah. But like you said, man, going out of the Europa League in that fashion was very poor. Although, to be fair to the team and the manager, and I know you've sort of attributed it to No Pressure FC, after we went out of that, you did see a noticeable pickup in form. But then we still finished 8th. So I'm trying to be positive about it. But yeah. And here we are, man, in 4th place going into 2022. So the aspirations and hopes for 2022 are on the up, I'm sure. I just want to say, I've asked you this before, but in light of recent results, given that we're right at the end of the year, calendar year, the manager, marks out of 10, what would you give him?
I mean, I remember
he's on the 1st of 2022. So over the year, your marks for the manager.
I mean, we did this. I think we did this at the start of the season as well. I gave him a 5 at the time.
Yeah.
So I think because of the way the transfers in the summer, a number of them are looking decent. Ramsdale's done well. Tomiyasu. We're 4th and in the semi-final, so I'm gonna nudge it up to a 6. I think that's fair. The only reason I'm not going higher because we haven't finished yet. We don't know where we're gonna finish at the end of the season. So for me, I'm gonna give him a 6. I think that's fair. I don't think he's warranted any more than that, and I think the 5 deserves to go up a bit because of where we are in the table.
Yeah. I'm gonna give him a 6.5.
That's great for a little 0.5.
No, I gave you some thought. Yes,
go on.
And the reason for that is, like you said, we are on an upward curve. He's got a lot of things right, man. Let's be honest with you. Let's be honest about it. Even the Aubameyang thing seems to be working out well for him at the moment. So as we stand right now, it's a 6.5. But then, like you said, man, there's still a hell of a lot to play for in the season. Long way to go yet. We're just over 19 games, exactly halfway. So, he's done well. When you consider the disappointments of last season, we spoke a little while ago, didn't we, about the disappointment of crashing out the Europa League to Villarreal and then finishing 8th. And then, like I said, the start of the season, we had 3 straight defeats. And the one to Brentford was particularly poor. Okay. Chelsea and Man City, those are very good teams, especially Man City, but the Brentford loss was quite poor. So if you consider the trajectory since then, largely it's been upwards, although there have been a few disappointments, for example, the Man United and Everton games, but they've bounced back in recent weeks well. And as we stand right now, we're 4th in the Premier League. We're in the semi-final of one of the major competitions.
Yeah.
And things in the garden are looking a lot more rosier. But then, like you said, Curtis, there's still a long way to go. So 6.5. I know some people will probably say 7, 8 and stuff like that, but I think it's a bit early for that yet. But on the calendar year, 6.5 I think is fair.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, at least we're moving in the right direction. I think, you know, he's come through a lot of difficult spells as well. Like you said, losing those first 3 games, you know, bottom of the league. You know, his job looked like it was on the line. So he has bounced back well. I have to give him that credit. He always seemed to have a lot of belief. So let's hope
Yeah.
it
I mean, listen,
continues.
you have to give credit where credit's due. And like I said, even in the Aubameyang situation, even though I don't agree with everything that's gone on, I will have to admit that so far he appears to have got it right. We will see what happens in the future. But
Yeah.
as of right now, you can't really complain too much about what he's done.
It's true.
It is what it is, as they say. Okay, listen, bro. Thanks very much. We're coming to the end of the year now, right? And the end of this show. So as we close out, is there anything you want to say to the people out there?
No, as usual, man. Like, really appreciate the support on the show and obviously on my channel as well. Happy New Year to everyone. Big up to you, big up to Robbie and all the team as well for all the help and support and everything. So let's hope 2022 is an even better year than this year. So hope everyone has a good time.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I'll echo a lot of that. Thanks to you for coming on this show and giving us the benefit of your honest and forthright opinions and your knowledge, in-depth knowledge of the game, having played at the highest level. So yeah, man, enough respect for that. Thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate your support. Send us your comments in. Let us know how you feel about those categories we discussed today. Let us know who your best player is, your most improved player, your best young player, your most exciting player, your best and worst moments of 2021. Let us know that, man. Keep the show interactive. We appreciate that. I will respond to people who send their comments in. So just to say, man, wishing you all the best. Hope you're all healthy, well, and COVID-free. If you do have COVID, if you are unfortunate enough to have had the COVID disease, wishing you a full recovery. Keep plugging away, man. Stay in there, you know what I mean? So thanks, everybody all over the world, man. Thanks to you. Wishing you all the best in 2022. Keep watching, keep supporting, like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you in 2022.